Deadly Silent Speech by Bomb Factory from the Doa 2 soundtrack. Really fun stuff. Okay, so the poll, a bit of both. So a little bit of story mode and a little bit of matches. Alright, let me end that poll and let's get started. Dead or Alive 6, a game. Oh my god, this is a game I really wanted to love. I really, really wanted to. You'll see the game in a second. It's just fight stick off the floor, and we're rolling. Morning, Alejandro. Sheemster. I thought I read Sheemstar for a second. Like, okay, we're getting fancy with nicknames now. Okay, click on the name. All right. Yeah, we'll do a couple of practice fights, and then we'll do some of the story mode. Yeah, the story mode for Doa 6 is... it's not very good. And I mean, it's bad by both fighting game standards and within just isolated Dead or Alive standards. Versus... Seems like my favorite VTuber union. Lol. Yes. A reminder, this game is also on the PlayStation 4 and by extension 5 and the Xbox Series S and X. Also Doa 5. Only annoying thing is that Doa 5, if you buy Doa 5 a couple of years ago, like not even a couple, like 5 years ago I think, or more than that, Mai's DLC expired. So if you want to play Doa 5, if you didn't buy Mai, you're kind of SOL. It's big Hitami. I'm surprised Hitami was actually one of the free characters you could play as. When you bought this game. I forgot. Do I have to do the challenge tower to unlock this costume? I forget. Yeah, you can do tower mode, time attack, and other costumes. But yeah, I mean, I was expected to mod in a bunch of costumes, but I just thought I didn't place one as much as the other Dead or Alive. There we go. 5 is way better. Way better. Bro, 5? I'll put it this way. When I ask someone, what's the best Dead or Alive game? First, hi, stay in class. Yeah. When I hear someone ask, or if I ask even, what's the best Dead or Alive game? Before Doa 6, it was an even split. Like, some people say that Doa 1 was the fastest, Doa 2 was better and technical, 3 was with the 3-ways, 4 had the 4-way splits and maneuvers, and then 5 had all the crazy combos and stuff. So you actually did have options. There was like no concrete, definitive best Dead or Alive. And then 6 is the one that everyone just agrees is the worst one. Because we don't count Dead or Alive Dimensions, which is the one for 3DS. Which is just it's like a quick recap of 1 through 4. But there's some slight retcons in there, some that are minor and make no difference, and then there's some that are major, and it's just like, why did you do that? But it gives Ryu Hayabusa a bigger role, but at the expense of some of the other characters. Hello, Isolde. All night to watch the stream? Why is it? Oh, I hate this. 1 second. I last played this on my older computer, I think. And that's when I had everything in Japanese, like the audio especially. And I forgot the audio was about English. Because sometimes if you don't play the game long enough, or have to reinstall the game, it'll just default to English. Because I bought the game back overseas. Yeah, that meter on the bottom really is like, the worst thing to happen to Doa, in terms of the combat. Because you can win a match without needing that thing. Yeah, there's a lot that went wrong with Doa 6. Half of it was miscommunication, half of it is just trying to cater to audiences that were never going to play Doa. And the last part is that they tried to glue it together, and the way they glued it together just pissed off a few people who were actually going to enjoy buying this game. Oh, fucking hell. I am getting my ass handed to me by goddamn volleyball net. Hold. And I watched the dad's army move on YouTube, old man. My ears, bro. Let me go to the options quickly, make the audio Japanese. One thing I will give Street Fighter credit for, that you can pick exactly which characters you want. to be in English or in Japanese. So you want Ryu in Japanese, but you want to keep Zangief in English because he has the Russian accent. You can do that. The meter system felt unnecessary? Yeah. The meter system is unnecessary. Because the problem with fighting games, it's not a problem, well, no, I'm gonna say that. The hyper casual says, the problem with fighting games is that when you get stuck, like I was against that volleyball wall, you're screwed. There's no way out. And that's why a lot of these beginner-friendly games usually have a comeback mechanic. In Smash Brothers, it was technically the Smash Ball. In fact, Smash Ball got so much of a you may not know this if because you are not that terrible at Smash Brothers. But if you play Smash Bros. And you keep dying too much, the game will spawn you in on the next life automatically with a the Master Ball already activated, the Smash Ball already there, and you get it free. So yeah, you just got to be very, very aware of this stuff. I mean, TMNT had one back on their Super Nintendo Fighter, but it really was the rage in all the PS4, Xbox One S, Wii U, early Switch kind of days. I love the ringlets. I mean, what was it? Tekken had the rage arts. Street Fighter 5 technically had V-Trigger, but V-Trigger was less of a combat mechanic than you would think it is. Mortal Kombat 11 had the Fatal Blow, and that one was terrible because with Rage Arts, if you use it and you fucked up, it was gone. But Fatal Blow, if you missed, you would still retain it. And the worst part is, if you were a combo master, sometimes it was better to just take the damage till you had it, then combo your opponent to like a 30 to 50, and then you could just use the Fatal Blow, and it would actually kill them, your opponents. The hard part about making a comeback mechanic is just that it's such an easy way to activate. Like in Tekken, you need you just gotta press 3 buttons to activate it. Here, your blue bar, you have a special dedicated button just to activate it. Smash Brothers, once you have it, just press the B button by itself and it works. Think about other games like combat mechanics, because there's a difference between a mechanic that can help you come back versus one that's dedicated specifically. They're all ganging up on me in Chinatown. Stop! Stop! I'm so into the conversation, I'm forgetting that I have to fight. Oh, give me a second. Pretty lady. Pretty birdie. Like this. Let's see. Look at that. Yep. That's the combat mechanic. Well, to be fair, stage damage in and of itself is not a combat mechanic, but that slow motion with the push, that was the big blow. And stage damage, let's say it's perfect. Stage damage in itself is not a combat mechanic. It's not. It can be abused and exploited to give you an advantage, yeah, but it in and of itself is not a combat mechanic. I'll just use mine right now. I'm just using my combat mechanic right now. Okay. Which button the combat mechanic? I forgot what I mapped it to. I think it's 3 of them? I'm just mashing the buttons to get the combat mechanic, and I can't figure out which button was the combat mechanic. Because I have it here, I guarantee you, and I don't. No, that's my taunt, wrong button. But that's the taunt, and above it should be mine. I don't know. I'll check after this match. Oh, I wasted it. You see how it's gone? Yeah, I don't get it back. I have to re-earn that shit, which is how it should be if you need to have a combat mechanic. But when you do combat mechanic, what you do essentially is that you give the players who aren't really good or confident a crutch to lean on that they can abuse 24/7. And they will just say, well, why can't I just use that over and over? Yeah, and the biggest kick to the nuts is that, yeah, people who don't want to learn how to play the game are just going to abuse it. If you want a good example of how you should implement it, I think of like any of the Marvel vs. any versus fighting game, really. Marvel vs. Capcom, or even the Injustice meter system, which I actually like it, because you could just use a hyper superhero special to get your way done, or you can wager against an opponent. Sometimes it's worth like risking 3/4 of your meter to just get a guaranteed hit over your opponent. But sometimes it's better, to lose the wager and then have that part to set up a combo. Or like, the old school Mortal Kombat 9 and 10. you used to have that full X-ray meter, you know? You could use X-ray meter, but sometimes it's just smarter to use, you know, a hyper version of another move into your combo. So you had ways you could use that bar with a lot of flexibility. The X-ray in and of itself is probably what a lot of normies go for if you're just going to go for the cool look. But in and of itself, does not make it a combat mechanic. Your worst English dub? Yeah, Doa's English dub is surprisingly very good. Even some of the other dubs you hear are just god-awful terrible. I'll deal with these two later. The whole thing about them. The milkman has arrived. We're Catherine O'Hara, moms for the first two home loans, as well as Sally from Night Before Christmas. Hey, now does that mean we have an excuse now to watch Beetlejuice on Christmas? The way to uncomplicated system in 6? 6? Yes and no. Like, for Dead or Alive, unlocking, like you beat an arcade mode once, or when 10 fights in time attack mode, gets you a costume. That's been the way since Doa 1, actually. Doa 2 for sure. Cause I remember I had to try, because I was trying to get Ayana in Doa 1 on the PlayStation 1, and the only way to do it is basically unlock everything with every other character, and it's just, not every other, with every character. You have to basically 100% the game to get her. It was retarded. But yeah, they did make it feel, yeah, but they shouldn't have been as much as they needed. Like lower the requirements a little bit for some of these. Oh, Hitomi is one of the best girls. Fight me? Not gonna fight you. Before I deal with those two, Mary Rose and Honoka, Hitomi was the third most popular Dead or Alive girl. Kasumi was first, Ayane was second. Apple. And but in terms of the story, if you pay attention to her thing, she's the only character I think who grew as much, if not more, than Ayane. At least before the Dead or Alive 6. Some side 7 here, come back. The side 7 of this game is really damn broken, if you time it just right. Look at that. My meter is already filled up. Let me try to expand my meter so you can see what it's like when it hits. It's taunt. It's my taunt. Okay, he threw the... I fucked that up. I was hitting something else. So it means like a meter jab. This is what the meter looks like. Yeah, here it's not as... The thing with the meter being bad in this game is that you can see it doesn't do too much damage. It really is more of a spacing idea. But considering that in Dead or Alive 5 you had a tag mode, instead of adding another mechanic, they just gave you this big ass spacer. Like, why don't they get 3 bars and just let me like choose one like double up or triple up on the move? Like, I mean, Soul Calibur is something very similar to that. But the fact that you just can't do any of that for a glorified space move, it's just kind of, eh. Doa Moa. It's very playable in the series. Nah, I doubt it. Surprised it isn't the logo for Doa Tech, to be all honest, because that's a very much a thing they would do. Yeah, Dead or Alive is actually one of those games that's easy to learn, hard to master, because you have, well, technically you used to have 3 buttons, but then they made 4 buttons. Yeah, you can actually move the camera around. I don't have the special Dead or Alive fight stick on me right now. Like, it's on my dresser there. The cabinets, what's the word in English? Bookshelf. So on the bookshelf, yeah. On the bookshelf, that's the word. Yeah, that one has 2 analog sticks, so you can actually rotate, the camera left and right to appreciate the character models. I'm just using the PS3 360 one because it's smaller, fits in my lap easier, and this arm rests on this chair. Not enough space. Not enough space. Because I do have that one, and the other big stick I've got is actually the PS3 one, the anniversary one for Arxis. I think it's the 30th anniversary. I forget what year it is. But yeah, that with the song buttons, oh, that feels great to use. But again, it's an even bulkier brick than the Dead or Alive one. That one I can barely fit with these armrests here. If I was just using my, the old school backless stool, I could probably fit them there. Get a table. Another. Oh, maybe I have to take my keyboard off and put my fight stick there next time. Probably just being lazy. This man should have been a much bigger, better character in the series, but unfortunately he's just, that's cursed. Put them back on or so help me. Nah, they gotta keep the shades on for both of them. I think there will be a DOA 7. And the reason I say yes is because Ninja Gaiden, okay, you guys remember this, Ninja Gaiden and Dead or Alive are interconnected. They're still interconnected, there's technically 2 timelines. Ninja Gaiden 3, Ninja Gaiden 1, and Ninja Gaiden 2 on NES. And then you have Dead or Alive 1, 2, 3. The other way you could do it is just Dead or Alive 3, and then you have Dead or Alive, Ninja Gaiden 1, and all that stuff. But the other timeline is, you don't count the NES game, you just go Ninja Gaiden 1 and Dead or Alive 1, Ninja Gaiden 2, Dead or Alive 2, then you have DOA 3, 4, Ninja Gaiden Sigma 3, and then Dead or Alive 5, 6. That's how interconnected they are. In both timelines, Ninja Gaiden and DOA are just intertwined. And Ninja Gaiden 4 is now part of that timeline too. And 4 did way better than expected, as well as Ninja Gaiden Ragebound, which I actually did get as a gift, surprisingly. I haven't booted it up yet, because we've seen the guy in the server play it. And it looks a lot like Kiryu Striders than it does Ninja Gaiden, but I could be wrong. Granted, I also like Shinobi at NES. Sorry, Genesis. Why am I getting all my old retro consoles mixed up? Wait, I know why. I forget if Nico doing that was a mod or if it was genuine. Kick. Okay, he doesn't have green hair. Lord. Did he ever say when he was in North Korea, Kim Jong-un? No, I don't think he has. I wouldn't be surprised though if Kim Jong was a fan of Rodman's music. Oh yeah, for sure. Yeah, I've played DOA 3. DOA 3 and 4 was really goofy Zack. 5 got to give him a lot of a backbone, but he's still the punchline because we need one protagonist to not get the girls and have it be horrifically funny, whereas the other one we gotta feel bad for it. Oh shit. Okay, punch and kick. One thing I really love at DOA is that there's a 2 shield system. You can do hold, where if you block it correctly, because you don't move and hold, you can use an advantage if you know what you're doing, or you can back up and shield normally like you would in a normal fighting game. You take damage from the hits, but it gives you more momentum. So it gives you you could back up and retreat, or you can try to hold your ground. I know it's supposed to be Bama, like it sounds like a freaking bird. I'm not gonna play it, I think it's kind of funny. But Zack with the bird and with the mohawk, just give him like that stripe across his nose. Yeah, you can see it. A dab in 2026. This game came out. This game came out in 2020. The same year, late night 2019 or early 2020. I gotta remember which one it was. It was one of those two. It came around the same time that Mortal Kombat 11 came out, and that's how old this game is. And the worst part is, if you count all the DLC, all the new costumes and everything in this game, and you compare it to Mortal Kombat 11 and only Combat Pack 1, Combat Pack 1 had 2 more months of life support than Dead or Alive 6 in its entirety. There has not been an update for this game at all since 2020. Yeah. Based on the hybrid of Hulk Hogan and Stan Hansen. 2019, yeah. Early 2019, yeah. The last support was in 2020. But think about that. This game had only like 9 to 10 months of support. Picking Rachel. Gotta pick Base's daughter. She needs a cowboy hat. Yeah. No, I'm not talking about the I could make a whole rant on why Doa 6 was dead and why Doa 7 needs to not repeat that shit. But one of the big reasons was, yeah, I'll talk about Marys and Honoka afterwards. But the three big things that they wanted a mature story. Now, the first thing about the mature story that was back when Itagaki's notes, and the mature story was supposed to be the entire murder of the Mugen Tenshin clan. So Ayane, Kasumi, Ryu, Hayate, and a couple others were going to survive it. But barring the few who survived, I don't think the mother Ayame was going to survive either. She wasn't going to make it from what I remember the notes. But yeah, the entire clan was supposed to be wiped out. And that's pretty... And for Dead or Alive, not Ninja Gaiden, Dead or Alive, that's a pretty dark story, you know? Because I'm only saying that because if you've ever played Ninja Gaiden 1, you can actually find... I don't know if you've ever seen this, but in Ninja Gaiden 1, you can find a young apprentice, Ayane, she's bleeding out, you know? You can save her, or the game can let you kill her. You will get a game over, but you can just take the sword and end her life and put her out of her misery. So yeah, for Ayane and Ninja Gaiden, that's not dark, but for everyone else, this is uncharted territory of like, holy shit, this gets depressing. Damn it. Yeah. So when you have that part, and then you say we're going to go and be Evo friendly, what does that mean? Now, Evo friendly here, now look at the fan service on your screen. Am I going to defend the idea of censorship? No. But this sexiness, if you go back to Dead or Alive 4, it's more or less the same. It's closer to Dead or Alive 3 than 4, but they're very similar. Dead or Alive 5 is the only Dead or Alive game to have extreme beach level of crazy levels of sexy into the characters. So yeah, because before that you had Dead or Alive 1, 2, 3, and then you had the Extreme Beach games be separate. 4, and then Extreme Beach 2. And then 5 was the only game to bother actually putting the fan service of the beach games into that. And the fan service of... It's true, but for the fan service of 5, like, you had costumes where it was like very short grass miniskirts and flower lace were the only thing covering the nipples. Yeah, you can't air that on an esports channel. Well, I think the whole game should have been gimped? No, I think they should have had a streamer mode. You click that button and it would have just locked or grayed out certain costumes as long as that mode was on, so you would know what was and wasn't streamer friendly. But to act like the whole game isn't sexy at all is overkill. But even if there was no Evo shit, anything going backwards from 5 was going to be seen as censorship. Because you're allowed, when it comes to these crazy things like sex and violence, you're supposed to keep going constantly forward. You're never allowed to go back. Mortal Kombat's got all this great violence in it, but they can't make the sexiness go up, so you see what happens. You went to that direction? Well, Doa 7 is a thing. I would hope it would be a reboot, actually. I'm hoping for a reboot. I think I bought some of the side costumes, right? Give the one and dress one, why not? So that you know what the Japanese people are going to do. Let's give me the other character. The character that should have been... This should have been fucking Angel, not Kula. Maybe she's better popular in Japan here, but... I've seen lots of requests in the forums for Angel or even Blue Mary. I understand why they didn't pick Blue Mary, because I know Dead or Alive 5 did have a King of Fighters costume crossover event, and a lot of Blue Mary stuff just went straight up. Just went to Tina. So I feel kind of redundant for a lot of people. Better reboot than a deboot. Yeah, because if they make a reboot of Doa, they can make new characters, new things. It doesn't have to be worried about being tied to the Ninja Gaiden canon anymore. Or it could be like Samurai Shodown, where it was a reboot and a sequel. Well, in that case, Samurai Shodown was a reboot and a prequel, I should say. You know, reinvigorate the gameplay style, do something new and all that stuff. That might be what the series needs. But yeah, but besides that censorship and the miscommunication of what a quote-unquote mature franchise is, because, you know, the Itagaki notes were the violence in the story, but then people thought the maturity was for the core values of the FGC. The other thing that helped was that, you see the Mai Shiranui costume that I bought? You had to buy that costume all or nothing. So you had to buy the set. What made Dead or Alive 5 so profitable was you could buy any costume you wanted a la carte. They had crazy events like Attack on Titan where they even had a Titan throwing stage, which was nuts. But you could buy any costume you wanted individually. And I remember, back when there was PS3 compatibility with the earlier Dead or Alive games, for Dead or Alive 5, any costume you bought for one transferred over. So I have Dead or Alive 5 on my PS. I have 5 on my PS Vita. Dead or Alive 5 Plus, actually. It's a real thing. So if I bought the game, the costume, let's say for Hitomi on my 5 Plus for my Vita, it would transfer over to my PlayStation 3 version of Dead or Alive. So think about it. So you could buy a game, and then they had Dead or Alive 5 Arcade, which was the upgrade, which on console was called Dead or Alive Ultimate, which brought Momiji into the mix and all that stuff, and some revamps. But think about it. You bought it. Think about it. You bought a costume for one game, and it transferred to 3 versions. I messed it up. And you did. I'm not sure if they transferred over to last round because of the generational differences. But you can still buy the costume a la carte. Here in this game, you're typically told you have to buy them all in these big $10 to $20 long bundles. So if you have to pay, so think about it, what's more important? Like, would you rather buy an individual costume for $3 whenever you wanted to, for that character specifically, or you could pay $15 and get it for every single character, the same costume, like the wedding dress and all that stuff. Or you can buy all the costumes for one character. I mean, not the ones in the game, but you know. Or you can buy them individually. I'm asking you which ones you would prefer. You see, I'm going back and forth to that point. But now the game tells you you don't have that choice anymore. The game tells you you have to cough up the $20 now to get all the costumes for one character, and that's it. You don't get a choice anymore. So if you buy my Jirinoi, who's $10 as a DLC character, at least when I bought her, and then the costumes, like all this was $10 because if it's not on sale, you're paying $20 essentially for one character and all that stuff. When you could just, when in Dead or Alive 5, you could buy her for $6, $7, and then get the costume for like another $5. So you're paying $8 more. And then, and for DLC, because this has all the DLC characters like Nico were DLC. Look, she's from the game. I think she's from the Venus game. I forget. All of this here is DLC. Well, all this here is DLC. So you buy all the DLC characters, and you are still one character slot short of Dead or Alive 5. Well, but now actually it's even, because for Dead or Alive 5 you cannot buy her rights expired. I think it was September 11th. I know that for sure, and it was I think 2018, 2019. I forget what year those rights expired. But yeah, but now they're the same amount of DLC. That's just smart. Ridiculously pot with honkers and Swedish Jill they got. Yeah, these two motherfuckers here. Yeah, oh yeah, these two are like the biggest culprits of the problem, because people forget these two could. It's not fair to talk about how popular these two are, because what was it? The Dead or Alive 5, you had 5 Plus, 5 Ultimate, and the game needed 2 new characters to market. She's a recycled asset of all the other fighters. That's why her supposed gimmick is that she can just watch someone do martial arts and she learns. Mary Rose, however, is unironically a cool original fighter from her gameplay standpoint. I'll play as her. Because she's got these stealth walks, these jabs, it's great to play as her. It's why she is actually in the games the most popular Dead or Alive character, even beating out Honoka here, even though Honoka has the biggest knockers in Doa canon. That was her entire marketing gimmick. Something big is coming to Doa. I forget I don't have anything in this book. Oh, wait, I do. Points how did Pikachu, how the game-based character wasn't a bomb and there hasn't yet been another live... Wait. How's been... Wait. Let me read that slowly. Pointless Hub has been on talking about the Pikachu. How it's the one video game-based film from the current era that wasn't a bomb and elderly despised, yet how there hasn't been another live action Pokemon since. Well, sometimes... Well, 2 things you gotta remember. Number 1. Sometimes you only get enough rights based off of a time frame or enough for a certain number of films. It's why Dragon Ball Evolution exists, because Fox... the time frame, the timed rights were going to expire. Sonic movies are great, bro. Sonic movie is good. Like, it was like this. You know how Minecraft movie was like a millennial, like pandering, and then with a Minecraft skin. Sonic movies are for the Sonic fans. I don't know if I'll hold on to the live action Jesse. Nah, I wouldn't. I wouldn't personally. With live action stuff, they tend to change a lot of the stuff. I was kind of put off with the Pikachu movie because I'm like, why is every Pokemon a fucking furry texture? I have to remember, the CGI artist, if you want it, you have good hair, good fur, good water, that's a flex. That's what it is. But yeah. But other than that, I think it was an okay film. But Sonic, that trilogy is fucking great. They just got better and better and better. Like, every casting choice has been pretty damn good. Yeah, Gothic Lolita is a big thing in Japan. Again, that's like the very cutesy maid doll kind of thing, as opposed to, like, you know, traditional goths. Because it's like Victorian Lolita fashion. Yeah. Okay, yes. So those two of the marketing. Yeah, something big is coming to Dole was Honeka's marketing thing, and then they did Mary Rose's thing like that. But here's the thing about it. There's two other important things besides her chest that affected their sales. Number one, besides the DLC character from Dynasty Warriors and Mai, these were the two newest characters you could get in the actual game itself. So you bought the new disc for Dead or Alive Last Round. These characters were the guaranteed new fighters you were going to get. These are kicks. Or kicks are what we're going to use. 6. There we go. I forgot about that tentacle being in that big spot. I used to like the treasure chest in the other spot. I keep expecting Castlevania to be playing, you know? I'm not meaning to hit every fucking thing. There we go. There's a special. Release the Kraken. Mary Rose mid goals to Sweden Banner Dead or Alive 5. I don't think it was 5. I think it was actually, no, it wasn't 5, it was Dead or Alive Dimensions. Because Dead or Alive Dimensions, you know, some of the characters were like 16, 17 in the lore. And they had like more of the conservative swimsuits. But more of the conservative swimsuits, and I mean like the one pieces and all that stuff, that got it legally classified as ocean urine. You can figure out the synonyms there in that country. Look at that, just hold me down because I'm little. This fucking game. Yeah. My brain. Yeah. But the other thing that people forget about this is that with Dead or Alive Last Round, starting with that one, and then this carried over to 6 as well, they had something called Core Fighters, which essentially you can download the game for free and get 4 characters. You don't get to pick, they're defaulted. So in this game, I believe that you get 4 or 2 characters. I know for Dead or Alive 5, it was... For Dead or Alive 5, it was literally Ayane, who's a top tier fighter, Kasumi, Hayate, and the Hayabusa. It was literally the Mugen Tenshin that was free. And considering that those were all like top tier fighters, and Ayane was my main character, I didn't have to buy anything. But you can buy each character individually if you wanted to, or you can pay, I think it was like $30, $40, and get the entirety of the roster, which is a fair game. I bought this game, obviously, with the whole roster. But if you only care about one character and you're a fighting game super casual, and you only want to see the big booby waifu, why would you pay $40 for all this when you can just buy, you know, the one waifu, pay the $30 for the skins that you want, and you pick the character that you're going to play as? It's why Harry Rose and Honeka are the most popular. If you have 20 people playing Dead or Alive, I got it, for 2 hours every day, that's 40 hours, right? But if you have 100 people playing her for 1 hour every day, there's still going to be more gameplay hours. And that's the metric they're using it. They're using the metric of the super casuals against the hardcore who are dedicated to one character. And that's when it becomes democracy, mob rule. And these two were super popular in Dead or Alive 5, that these two single-handedly are the only reason why Extreme Beach 3 Venus even exists. That came out of Koei Tecmo's own mouth. They're not Bruce Lee clone. I didn't even have Southern. Nah, forget that. Sorry. I need to be this guy. I need to be rigged. The Dynasty guy's account was built on digital looking Pokemon. I know which one you're talking about, but there's one particular that used more dinosaur scales, but still they didn't do the dinosaur scale thing. Like Jigglypuff's supposed to be this smooth ball of like flesh, like a pig. It's not supposed to be a furry Jigglypuff. It's not. Big fucking rigs. like I said, my problem is not with Jessie. My problem with that is that they would change her way too much. Because Jessie and James, at least in the canon of the cartoon, you know, they have this kind of snarky, snappy lead lady, which nowadays would probably be turned into a girl boss. And then James was like the clumsy but well-meaning guy. Like one guy said it best. So someone had classified it as, you know, confident girl failure with her not gay best friend. And you can tell how modern comedy writers would just ruin that stuff. But if you do use the Pokemon manga canon, Jessie and James do get married and actually do have a family. But that never happened in all the years in the anime. They did eventually support Ash in his run against the Elite Four when he finally won and beat the region. Yeah, I don't want Amber. I mean, as even though she can look the part, Amber Heard as Jessie, it's like, I don't think you're acting. I don't think you're acting. Well, live action, actually, I've seen Resident Evil 1 and the first Silent Hill. There's actually 5 of them, I would say, for live action. I gotta give me a second here. The first Resident Evil movie, I agree with. The first Silent Hill, yeah, it's good. But you know why those 2 films are good? Because they capture the spirit of the work. They're not trying to be film adaptation of the actual game. I know that sounds like a cop-out, but it's true, because why it's called an adaptation. What makes Dead or Alive scary, sorry, not Dead or Alive, sorry, what's Resident Evil scary in a game, or Silent Hill scary in a game, is because you're behind the controller. And you're trying to emulate that feel when the audience is control-less. They have no control of the plot or the direction or whatever you want to see. So those 2 for live action, because there's a couple of them here in Japan that were actually pretty solid. Like, not amazing, but they were solid. I just gotta remember them off the top of my head. I mean, it takes me a while to think because I just remember how much worse the bad ones were. And sometimes I have to think also because sometimes the characters in the live actions don't get the crazy hair colors that they do in the games and all that stuff. Give me a second to think. I'm trying to think of both Western and Eastern. Unlike official ones. Not ones like Bloodsport where that's the closest you have to Street Fighter to the movie, you know. Silent Hill thing that came out, that's horrible. Which one? Can you be more specific? That's like been every Silent Hill movie that isn't the first one. The third one is by Uwe Boll's Postal is actually really good. Because it manages to be dark and violent and horrific like the first game, but it nails the comedy aspect of the second one. The part where legit, the Postal dude goes like on a mass shooting spree like in the village. And of course, Uwe Boll, dressed as a protester, gets capped by him. You have literally J.K. Simmons running a shop, or an ad guy runs in, and then the whole place just explodes. It really is the game that Postal. Now, to be fair, I'm gonna be real with you. There actually is a Postal. The dev team running with Scissor said they would never do a joke about, you know, hurting kids or infants. The Postal movie got away with it. They got away with that joke. They made the one joke that Postal would never fucking do, and they pulled it off perfectly. Uwe Boll's hatred of video games just was a perfect match for Postal's we don't give a fuck about anything attitude. Mila needs more love. They gave her, they did her dirty. Back in, back from the months of each other. Yep. The other 2 I have to really think about because because no one talks about Uwe Boll's Postal. Everyone talks about Uwe Boll's, you know, House of the Dead or Blood Rain. You know? Yes, Uwe Boll made a good adaptation. You know what I mean? Correct. But that's because he's like, oh, it's a game where offensive things happen, and he just let his offensive humor run and take over the reins, and it works. Yeah, I mean, dude, you have the Postal dude who's like, come on, man, not this again. I'm just too tired for this shit, and then people just start dying. Yeah, it's like, how did you nail this? You know, like sometimes you just do a perfect job when you're doing a draw, or you know, people when they don't try too hard that they want getting you the perfect result. yeah, do people forget about the Double Dragon movie in the 80s? Remember that? That wasn't perfect, but it was... The fight scenes were cool. Yeah, I'm not the best with Tango, to be completely fair. I never use her. Because her spacing... She has the thing where if you try to space back too much, you start flying, and then it kind of hinders your punches and your kicks and everything. There was a Double Dragon movie in the 80s, yeah! But no one talks about it because everybody talks about the Wizard, because the Mario Brothers 3 reveal. The Wizard single-handedly outshone, like, the Double Dragon. There was a thing about that dude. The Double Dragon film, we don't even talk about it. It's not like King of Fighters, the movie, where that was so bad people just forget it exists. And yes, it was worse than the Dead or Alive film. And it was worse than the King of Fighters. It was worse than worse than the 11 Fight film. Yeah, Tekken, at least the fight scenes in the Tekken film actually looked and felt like Tekken, and you had Keri Hiroyuki Tagawa as Heihachi. Yeah, the reason why the game adaptations tend to fail because they oftentimes they change the things that work. Because I get it. Again, the same thing with Dead or Alive here and Honoka and Mary Rose. You have to appeal to a broader audience, and a broader audience has a less refined palate. It's why McDonald's is the big thing. It's never the gourmet restaurant. Yeah, but to go back to these two, I want to finish that thought. Yeah, so you can buy these characters a la carte, and they're... Yeah, but that's the problem. People bought Mary Rose and Honoka separately. They bought Dead or Alive Extreme Venus to play as these two. So making Dead or Alive 6 with these two separate was a terrible idea. They just hate to be that guy. They either they should have never done Core Fighters, or do Core Fighters, but the only way to get these two would be as a package bundle, or you had to buy the whole cast to get them too. You know what I mean? And that's the thing, because that's the thing about it. People bought the entirety of Venus for these two characters, and yet you're going to put them separately and expect them to buy the whole game? No, only Fighting the Game fans or Doa fans are going to buy the whole game. To put the nail in the coffin, though, they forced 5 and 6's... Sorry, no. Oh, I'm saying 4, 5, 6. They forced 6's story to have these two as a protagonist. And heads up, when Dead or Alive 5 came out, and these two characters were DLC, there was no official canon story. We didn't know she was a college student. We didn't know that she was Helena's maid. We didn't know that. They had no story. They were just the new hot chick girls that everybody wanted because everyone else was boring. Don't let the Sims hear you say the word boring. Didn't exist yet. We have Japanese Morgan at home. Her cousin, her unofficial cousin. She wasn't in. She came out later, yeah. Didn't exist yet. And then the English dub actors have a role to play as well on top of all that. So all that combined, and the story itself was so the people who play Mary Rose and Honoka were never gonna buy the whole game, so they weren't able to play the story mode. But the people who play the story mode weren't gonna play the story mode specifically for these two knuckleheads. And holy shit, we'll start story mode in a couple of matches. But these two, their story mode was so fucking bad. Like, everyone, I mean fucking everyone, took a hit in their characterization or plot. Like, there's some side missions in this game, and if you win, you can unlock transcripts of dialogue between characters. That has better story and world building than the actual canon story mode. Because the story bends over backwards to make these two characters fit in. And that's why they have to reboot, unless they're going to retcon 6 out of existence. Which I think would be the perfect point for a reboot. Because 6 just gave everyone a fucking hit. It makes no fucking sense. Came out here out of Super Mario movie and before the Mortal Kombat movie. Yeah, Mortal Kombat's the 4th movie, I would say. But I kind of forget to put that one in there because Mortal Kombat didn't just adapt the material, it invented a lot of the new material. Like, it really committed to the concept of Reptile being a full-on reptile. It invented, the Johnny Cage having that snarky $500 sunglasses thing. It gave Shang Tsung the personality that is now canon. There's a lot of things that the movie added to the games that have now since been canon ever since. So I kind of not sure if I should put it in the category because it kind of it did a reinvention of the characters for that. Happy Hanukkah? Fuck no. Second, we have Miguel at home. But Miguel is drunk though. Yeah, this is supposed to be the new face, the new Ryu. Mary Rose and Honoka in terms of design, I just hate how they're integrated into the story mode, and I hate how their biggest fans cannot be reasoned with. Because the people who love them the most are the ones who don't play Dead or Alive as a fighting game. They don't play fighting game. They literally bought them because they're the big booby waifu. And you can't convince someone who only likes a game for the fan service of one or two specific characters that, hey, you supporting this is why my favorite franchise is on life support. If that makes sense. Like, the best I could do would be a good example is, think of Morgan. Think of Morgan. How many people love Morgan's design in all those versus fighting games or whatever? Marvel vs. Capcom, or even just, you know, the art by itself. Now, how many of the people would, if a Darkstalkers 4 was announced tomorrow and it got released, how many of them would fork over the $60 to $70 to buy Darkstalkers 4? Or if they did the free-to-play mode, and you can buy the fighters, how many of them would buy Morgan, Felicia, maybe Hisenko, and no one else? Maybe QB. Exactly, because they're not a fan of the whole series, they're just a fan of the waifu. This is why I always... They're the reason why I'm skeptical of just saying, don't just go full fan service. You need to have a core mix. I mean, you want a great example? Another one? Look at Street Fighter fucking 6. Street Fighter 6 has better looking waifus than the realism for the ones that people actually like. Nobody likes Kimberly. Nobody does. That's why she looks terrible. Nobody likes the I'm sorry, the hip hop black, no. Lily. No one likes Lily, the Mexican one. She looks terrible. Like, people like Yuri Han. People like Yuri Han. People like Chun-Li. People like Cammy. People like Mai Shiranui. I thought all four of them are such great detail taking care of them, and that's why Street Fighter 6 this year in EVO has just blowing out every other fighting game. You know, let me check my phone quickly here on my photos. I have it downloaded here somewhere, the EVO numbers. Yeah, I was going to talk about this last stream, but I didn't mention it. Hello, Sinistar. Hello. Yeah. EVO Japan 2026. For context, Under Night Birth, 45 fighters. Virtual Fighter 5, 53 fighters. And you saw me play that one with our good buddy Crimson here. Melty Blood Type Lumina, 61 fighters. Fist of the North Star, 72 fighters. King of Fighters 15, 72 fighters. Fatal Fury, the new one that came out. 130 fighters. 2 XKL, the League of Legends fighter, 140 fighters. Vampire Savior, which is Darkstalkers 2, 152 fighters. Grand Blue Fantasy versus Rising, 161 fighters. Tekken 8, 219 fighters. Guilty Gear Strive, 234 fighters. Street Fighter 6, 3,135 entrants. 3,135 versus Strive, the second biggest one, at 234. Because the waifus are good looking, the mechanics are simple, it's for people who can't play fighting games. Yeah, Street Fighter 6 has the big numbers, but is it going to be remembered as a good game that the fans going to like it down the road? A lot of Street Fighter fans that have been around since day one, they don't like this one. So what do? How do you make these things work out without sacrificing your soul to people who will abandon your game the moment that you don't deliver what they want? It's why a lot of Dead or Alive fans just want that Extreme Beach Venus game to come to the States. They didn't... I mean, to be fair, it has an English support because of the Asian region of Singapore and the Philippines. But they're not going to put the game out in America because they realize that to get past all the controversy, quote-unquote, they would have to censor the game. And they said, fuck it, we'll let you guys import it yourselves, then censor the game. I'm so mad I have this one in Dead or Alive 5. I need to unlock it again. This was her default in the other game. Yeah, there's something like this is one of my favorite ones. It's just annoying when you have them unlocked in one game but not the other, and just like really try again. Yeah. Oh no! Oh shit! Did the game crash? Okay, that's a first. I've never had Deus Ex crash me before. Are you still there, chat? Are you still there, chat? Let me know. Let me know. Give me a song. Yeah, this is the first time ever this game's crashed me. I don't know. They probably the game's telling me, yes, get on with the story mode. Well, fine, we'll go with the fucking story mode. But yeah, Because think about it. I think I'm at Cell Sinistar. I think I remember this because in Sinistar can confirm in Street Fighter 6 you actually have like online clans you can sign up for in Street Fighter. Yeah, this is such a big font. I thought this was like it. Yeah, and there are several clans in the Street Fighter Guild, unfortunately, that are dedicated solely to Jirihan's feet, with like thousands of like, members in them. So I'm not sure if it is crossplay. It might be, but I don't think it is. I can check right now. Ah, yes, the Rido, the big baddie. But if you close your eyes... Yep. I'm up for Street Fighter. And Street Fighter, what did Street Fighter do? They changed everything that made the game cool. Like, I get it. You wanted an American character. But... Jesus Christ. Jesus Christ. Sorry. But did you have to get... You had Ken! Why didn't you just use Ken? And then talk about Ryu through Ken like a Great Gatsby kind of thing. It's all you had to fucking do. But no. Nah, they didn't fucking do that shit. Yeah, Dead or Alive 6 is not crossplay. Yeah, the worst part about Dead or Alive 5 is that if you get the console version, it's better than the PC version because it runs off the Xbox X version, Xbox PS5 version 2, the PS4 version 2. The PC version runs off the PlayStation 3 version, has no online lobbies, but you have modding abilities. You had Alex, you had Ken, who was, again, American Ryu. But you had a Guile, yeah. But why did you ask everyone? Why did you ask everyone what's a fucking Guile? And you guys thought the story explanation for fights was bad in Dead or Alive 5. See, because I know Crimson's like, we don't need story. I'm like, well, yeah. I know if you're up for it, fight. I'm just gonna abuse the fuck out of the stage hazards. Try to get to the story mode. Misa Death Note. Well, kind of. If Misa was from Sweden, not that I'd be mad. Look at that. Look at that. The first fight inning, we already have established these two are going to be the main characters, sadly. This traditional waifu, of course. It was supposed to be a tutorial fight for you to get used to Mary Rose, but the whole concept is if you can handle her, she can handle her master or her mistress in a fight, then she can handle a fight on the streets. Oh yeah, you're not seeing things. You're not imagining that shit. At the same time, the ninja characters have a canon story alongside Mary Rose, and you saw that. Oh fuck, where the hell was Mai? Yes, Mai and Kula, despite being DLC characters, actually do have canon fights. So yeah, Zach has one here. Yes, Mai Shiranui, who's a DLC character, has a canon fight in the story mode. And Kula as well. Do you see what the problem is? Why does Mai and Kula, why do Mai and Kula need canon story events if they're guest DLC characters? Why not do this to make, you know, the main story actually fucking better? You have some characters on this roster who don't even show up in the story mode, so it shouldn't be a fucking problem. Who the fuck is playing a story mode for a guest character to be canon? If it's a what-if crossover game, that's one thing, because you're embracing the full thing. But now it just gets weird and nasty. Aqua was canon in 7. Yeah, I guess look how terrible that fucking idea was. Sometimes your guest character just needs. Sometimes you're. You know what? That's the thing about it. Like, I'm not saying they can't have a chapter. But I'm like, why does it have to be a canon chapter? Why not give them a non-canon cool chapter? Like, not if like we're trying to connect Tekken and Street Fighter in this cohesive narrative. Is like, yo, just do it. Just do it. Just treat it like, yo, what if Akuma was a Tekken character from the get-go? What would he be like? Boom, started. What if Mai was a Dead or Alive character from the get-go? Boom, there you go. Just run with the premise that you're already a character in this universe. Don't try to connect the two of them together. A lot of times they try so hard to make it work, and it works for that one game, and then it just makes everything a lot more confusing. I'm gonna do Mary Rose's mission. Luckily, we deserve the awful world. But people love it because we deserve the awful world we live in. The same people, you know, who get mad. Senpai will not notice you. Does this feel dull enough for you? I wish they cut out Honoka's response like, "We're gonna practice with me? Contact successful," and then the fight starts. Okay. Okay, where's the fight set? Like, I can't even tell which chapter of the fights anymore. The sickening, sweet, innocent-sounding anime music. Little arcs fuck people. Yeah, the same people who. I'll get that in a second. Jesus Christ, friend. Oh, the one that exploded in the last game, guys.
表向きは事故ということにしてね。待て、こいつを。リグよ、プラントで施設長を任せていたの。あなた彼と会ったの？いや、こいつは今どこにいる？おそらくニューヨークよ。バースと一緒にいるはずだわ。
Bubble Bass.
じゃあもうしたら。
She starts like, I should get Chloe art drawn could fuck people. That's what I don't get. It's like they hate. It's like these people will love and they'll just goo goo gaga, mauve and everything about. I feel like I'm doing this wrong. The goo goo gaga meld over this character in Honoka, but then they say fuck lucky Chloe. They get happy that Akuma and is a canon character in Tekken, and then they go around and say that the other crossover DLCs are retarded, and then they only buy the shittiest DLC characters like freaking Cloud Strife and in Smash Brothers. I don't. What pisses me off? There's no consistency with this shit. You would have more consistency from Overcooked. From what was her name? Kay's Cooking, when she made the pasta bolognese by just shoving the raw pasta in the middle of the meat and putting that on the grill. How it's so burned yet undercooked. That shit has more consistency than these fuckers. Fighting game community is cancer. It's not the fighting game community. It's what you, oh god. It's what you want. The people can't agree for what they want from a fighting game, if that makes sense. They say fighting games don't need to be taken seriously, or we don't need a story for them. But then the moment one thing doesn't appear right, it just magically is a fucking problem. When we find Bass. I had to watch a stupid single. Like, why couldn't you just put those two cutscenes together? Like, at least with 5 was a tournament bracket. Here, it feels like I'm just going all over the place. I have to go back to my story to see what's going on while this shit's going on. So we have to have this happening while Mai's going to New York, while Kula's working on the thing for Ness, while Mai's talking to Kasumi, and it's just like, fucking that swagger walk. Just almost moonwalking on those heels there. Yes, where's that old bitch? There's cancer in all community, bro. Yeah, every community's got cancer. Fucking Zelda fans got cancer. Mario fans got cancer. Dino fans got cancer. The dinosaur has cancer. We have to put him down. Do you follow the story so far? So base is in New York. We have contact here. Ayana gets there. In front of flying pterodactyls while he interrogates some motherfucker in New York. I think it's Rig. Where's my fucking mind chapter? If I have to go all the way... Look how hard it is to navigate this thing. It used to just be like... it should be like at the same time. Meanwhile, but now it's like, it's just his first chapter. It's like, Jesus Christ. Yeah, Nyotengu's going on, like... Let's do this thing with New York here so that we can just get up there. Yeah, Star Wars, Mega Man Guilty Gear. And that's cancers that are like die-hard purists, not to be opposed with fake fans who are just whiners in the streets. I don't know, I mean, at least with Dead or Alive, what you can do is if you go across one column, it's timeline, but if you go down the other way, it's like if you go across the timeline left to right, it's in order. If you go up and down, it's by character, which I thought was a pretty brilliant move. But yeah, the fact that I have to watch a little prologue chapter before like getting the next thing is just gonna be ugh. They did find evidence that them had died of cancer. All the large fan bases, average are over cancer. Correct. Very true. We have, this is Mexican Ryu, I love it. Just the hair look and everything. I know he's not from Mexico, but just saying that, you know. Alright, whoop the Batman's ass! Yeah, this layout, yeah. I wanted to do more Damien tomorrow, but honestly, I think this weekend we should just do their life story mode. Because story mode, and all the cutscenes combined, it's like 90 minutes. But that means how many fights I have to win. The fights seem a bit too easy. Sometimes they are, sometimes I just know how to mash. Yeah, Dos Equis is not a terrible game. Choco Puffs Crispy! You see I'm so sorry. I see the laundry in the back and I thought it was Colombia's flag. For this, like, oh, blue, red, yellow. Oh, that's... I'm gonna give a really hot take for Doa. Yeah, because you see left to right. Because you see left to right, it's timeline, right? And then up and down by the character. But the thing is that with Dead or Alive 5, you saw the whole map of where things started and ended before that, and you would just see the dots where events would happen. Here, you kind of do, kind of don't. Like this, so I don't know how far everything goes. So I could do his story because it's such a short thing. That I want to do everything like at the same time chronologically. I think that makes more sense. Anime Gina Carano Mila, yeah. My hot take is that Zach needs Mila as his Dead or Alive girlfriend canonically, and he had a canonical girlfriend who ran a casino, whatever her name was. I forgot her name. But after second Island blew up, she left him. Which kind of led to the whole like plot of 5 kind of starting with him and being chased. But yeah, I mean, I'm not saying it because, you know, I just feel bad for Zach, but they got some decent chemistry. And let's face it, having Base be like your intimidating father-in-law would be for some great comedy. Bad and payback for him putting the camera in her locker. Dale looks like a thug? We thought, we don't say that anymore. We don't say that anymore. That's the wrong one. Let's decide who's the best. Let's go. Yeah, but I gotta ask you a question. Be honest, for the 3 fans of the audience here. Would you say that is within Mai's characterization, or does this feel like a rewrite? Or does this feel like this is old Mai and the new Mai is just Andy obsessed? Let's be honest here. I'm trying to remember what her input is to get the fire burns and all that stuff, because her old SNK inputs actually still do work in this game. Just remembering where they are at. There we go. Yeah, that fighting slum with the bruises and everything. Yeah, guys would rather take more boob bounce than that. Broken ankle. It's accurate to old Mai. Yes, it is. And your canon Mai chapter takes you nowhere. I mean, why couldn't Mai have been a messenger for the Shiranui clan? Just saying, my Shiranui clan should have sent a message to the Doing Attention, because the Nest people sent out Agent Kula. And they've made, and Kula has got intel about a common individual who may or may not be connected to RiKo. That's how it could have gone. But nah, just nah. I was bone Andy these days anyways. I don't like mine was just cost me. Yes. The things that you can't get, and that's what I mean about characterization in fighting games. Her characterization is not good anymore. But you just can't get rid of her. Hell, people had a fucking bitch fit when she had the same personality as her old days, but she had a short haircut. A haircut! A haircut! Finland! We gotta beat the Finnish character. Now you see why I think we should need Angel? Bro, Angel would totally go just, like, fighting everyone, like she'd find Hitumi, he's like, you won the champion? I'll fight you. Diego, Spanish speaker. It's like, same team, but I gotta end you. Gently. I don't like you. What was it? Who's the funny one? Elliot. I don't know you, I don't like you, and I haven't figured out why yet. And then when she wins, it would just be like, oh, no wonder. It's because you're pathetic. And then, of course, her typical taunts and all that. Yeah, Mai had a haircut, and one of those, it was like those side wave cuts. I think Sinostar's going to type it in right now because he knows it's off the top of his head. But it was so universally lambasted that people like to pretend that particular Dead or Alive game. I'm trying to remember which one it was. In the real game? No, because the hair you see in this game here, that's her actual hair in Dead or Alive, in King of Fighters, Dead or Alive, and Street Fighter 6. She actually had a short hair at one point. But yeah, the fanbase hated it so much that they just pretend that one never happened. She had a black outfit too. Mai Shiranui. Yeah, she had the black outfit on, and yeah, her dress was black instead of red, and she had the short hair. It was like almost like a bob cut with a wave at the end. Like the hair doesn't exist in this game on another character, so I just can't show it. I mean, it probably is an unlockable hair, but Maximum Impact, that was the one, yeah. I think it's fine. I think it fits her personality pretty well, but the look is so iconic that you can't get away with it. It's not like Chun-Li where she has two looks, you know, her typical look and then she has a long hair look. Yeah, everyone does. But there's a difference between just preferring it and then saying that the designers ruined her. You see how in Dead or Alive 5, well, compared to 6 here, the fights actually had like a better setup as to why they happen in universe, even if it was the beginning fight. Like clumsy with understanding, arrogant, rash. Here it's just like, we're doing our thing, let's just fight, because we need to give character fights. And keep in mind, this is the legacy cast here. This is the cast that's been here since the first or second game even. The two characters with nothing to do, who are new, have the most cutscene material so far. Yeah, I don't hate the designs either, but yeah, there's a difference. But I'm just saying, bro, the fact that they hit keyword H, hated, and a design that was completely fucking optional. Yeah, no, I'm not sure. I'm gonna do this one here, and then we'll see if anything else unlocks afterwards. If not, we'll just do that second chapter. Because everyone else is just, womp womp. Yeah, I mean, think about it. People just prefer the new Street Fighter 6 where she literally just has her bedtime gear of just a white undershirt and white booty shorts. They would rather that with the same hair than have her have a brand new design. Nico's a lightning girl lab, yeah. If I could add a guest character in DOA 7, my 3 would be, it'd be kind of tricky. I would get Angel from King of Fighters. I would put it, I don't want to say Sakura from Street Fighter because I think Sakura's a little bit too predictable. I don't want Cammy or any of the big names. I want someone, do I want Makoto? I think Makoto the farming girl? Yeah, Makoto the farming girl I think would be a cool one because they're like her, because she's, you know, girly but very, very aggressive. She would be fit. We have Morgan at home. And then the other third guest, if I could, would be really fucking tough, but I would love if they could somehow get rights to Kitana from Mortal Kombat. Because I think Kitana, like, because you can imagine Kitana, you know, as a combatant with her hands. I mean, you already have Mai Shiranui with her fans anyways. And then you can, because she's like I think the most kind of the three female MK ninjas, you can understand her, like, you can see her not, like, killing the opponent. Jade, it depends on what incarnation of Jade. If it's like MK11 Jade, she's gonna kill somebody. If it's, you know, Deadly Alliance or it's MK9, she wouldn't be a killer. Oh god, these pair chapters make it a bit more tough to confuse. We're gonna do Diego and then we'll come back to her. That's just how I would do it, just a little bit of everyone. If I had to pick a different fighting franchise besides those, I would probably... Fuck it, why not bring fucking Orchid from Killer Instinct? If it had to be a dude though, yeah, Jago, then Jago would be great. I think it has some wild attack animations if you play as her, yep. SF6 proved that Cat can get away from the truth. The waifu's design and sell, correct. Are you enjoying the story in our story mode so far, boys and girls? I'm not saying it has to be MK levels of HD cutscenes that go on for 7 minutes, but I think I've seen more compelling plots on the back of the cereal box. I mean, bro, we're just sparring in a gym. So far, we've seen flying pterodactyls. Makes you low-key wish you went back to the flying pterodactyls just because it was interesting? Welcome back to the star. Yeah, I think I've gushed about the best fighting game mode in the story ever. Like, not the quality of the story, but it was like the way it was set up. The struggle is painfully boring, yeah. I don't blame you one fucking bit. I'm just trying to fight this shit as fast as I can so we get to the interesting crap. But yeah, you have to play, yeah, it gives you these illusions of like you can do all of these things and then other things will unlock. Because with Dead or Alive 6, you know, you could see a train going on. But because the chapters were like, something clearly happened here, for example, it would logically show you the next chapter afterwards. So you could keep going forward, but you would just naturally want to go backwards to one. Because logically it just makes sense. And you're wondering why people didn't play the fucking game. It's like they low-key knew that people weren't gonna play the story mode. But if they weren't gonna play the story mode, then why did you make one in the first place? Why did you force Miros and Honoka in the first place? Why did you do it if no one was gonna play this shit? Betty. I'm gonna have to say this, man. I think I've seen pornos with better plot. In both senses. Oh yeah, see, everyone when they talk about Dead or Alive being censored, they never talk about the undie shots like that. They're still in this game. I mean, I'm not saying, again, criticize the notion of censorship. Of course, go for it. Just saying that it's not 100% what all those clickbait channels were talking to you about. The Hydrox? I haven't had regular Oreos in a bit. Okay, let me go to Sinistar something out of pocket again, let's say this. Sinistar says... Right on! Wait. Octopus, you grabbed the wrong thing. Why didn't we just start off with this chapter? Like why did... Okay, that's kind of silly, I like that. Yeah, I mean, that's stupid, but... Yeah, this is stupid, yeah. But why do we have to start with the Nyotengu chapter? Why couldn't we start off with this? Like, this is a better opening, a lot better opening. Just start off with the girls fighting up pirates. I mean, they've already been around the world dealing with secret agents. This is nothing new. We should just expect this from the game. But no, it's, you might like a boy. They may or may not be together. We have... Tenemos Ryo a su casa. Something, you paid for this character. Sims demanded it. Come on, my girl, what's my girl Ayane at? If you know what happened with Honoka, then you know. Is this everything just literally is hinging on this fucking Diego chapter? They are stalling the story. I have seen more progression in a soap opera that has... Or Dragon Ball that delays for 3 fucking episodes. You can't take more of it? Yeah. Damn, I was really hoping... I remember it being bad, but I don't remember it being this bad. Maybe that's why I don't remember. There's no fucking story. Okay, we actually got... Hopefully we're getting somewhere. Hopefully we're getting somewhere. Please, I pray to God, this story gets good. It's not... Okay, not good. I know it's terrible. I'm just trying to remember where the hell the good stuff's at. I just can't remember. If I'm intending to getting genes by tentacles, yeah. Because there is an arcade mode, they still have it. But yeah, but with story mode like this, it's no wonder that Dead or Alive just tested. This was just awful, awful. And again, this game had less than 1 year of support, so unless you're going to be playing those short mission modes where you get those transcripts. Actually, after this cutscene, I'll just play one of those arcade mode, not the one with the cutscenes in the Doa quest, so you can see what I mean about the characterization. Any flavors of Oreos in Japan? Nope. You have more Kit Kat flavors than an Oreo. That's it? Oh, getting somewhere finally. If it's an Ayana chapter, I'm playing that, then I'm gonna do the Doa quest because that actually gets interesting. I don't need. Yeah, unlike the other one, it forces you to clear everything in all the chapter 1 and chapter 2. So all the family here's gonna be in one thing. Yeah, here she talks about how she can just magically learn her superpowers by just watching everybody else, which is a lot less interesting than it sounds, because she's supposed to you play against why am I forgetting them the names now? The story mode just drained my energy. Elliot, you play as Elliot, and then she kind of learns his kung fu style from him. But yeah, and the worst part is that when you find out what they do later with Maribos and Honoka, it's like, why did you just? Ugh. Let me go to the quest, and you'll see what I mean about the characterization. Let's pick a character. We get some cutscenes after, some text afterwards. And they're not all. Some of them are all. Some of them aren't. Like, let me pick. Let's do one for Cos. Let's do Cosmic first because it's an easy one. Except people complaining, designs whining. My outfit was exposed. Sure, cat from the fakes. Focal bell. One ground attack. See, I like this because it forces you to it gives you goals to work for within a parameter of time. So I just need to get the ground attack is the only one I don't think I can get just right. Ground attack is like. Where is the fucking ground attack? Is it hold? Or do I press down? I'm just trying to remember how to do the ground attack. There is a way to do it. I have to remember how to do ground attack. That's why my combos are sucking. I forgot how to do ground attacks. Shit. Alright. Yeah, I'll have to come back for that one later. Yeah. So give me the little cut thing after the little text thing afterwards. And you get, let me do the tutorial mode for a sec so I can figure out how to do these ground moves. Okay. So I have to press hold and kick. So hold, so diagonal down. Hold, kick. Okay, so in this case. And then down and punch. Wait, down punch. Wait. Same time. I see the do the combo screen. You see what I'm doing? I'm pressing dumpy. Oh, I see it. Oh, I see. Here and then to a down throw. That's. Damn. Okay. So I know. Okay. All right. Let me quit back. Let's see. Okay. Let's try it one more time. What's up, Crimson Eye? Alright, let's go here. Begin. Oh, wait, did I mean do. No, I don't want Nico's story. Fuck. The rough is kind of thing to me. No, they use a similar model. It's not just you. Wait. What happened to the combos here? Remember, it's I'm trying to get that It's hold and kick. Hold, kick. It's diagonal down, hold, kick. So it's up. What's up with that then? Why not give me the ground attack? It's supposed to be down, going down, diagonal down, and 2 punches. 2 punch kick, sorry. Why is it not giving me that diagonal down? Dummy? Got him. Okay. The down points that didn't work because they didn't have her down was great. Perfect. Alright, there we go, there we go, there we go. Alright, there we go. We got all 3. And now we get the costume. Costume 14. New title for Topaz, Spinel, and Sapphire beginning. Gotcha. Yeah, yeah, so you actually get some good stuff out of this thing. The other thing, though, is if needs the IC. Okay. Then how do I unlock the, what do I have the characterization then? Was it Doa Central, or what was it? Database, wardrobe. Oh, what was the combo? That's gotta be door request. I'm trying to remember where it is exactly. Entropy is... One of these... I'm trying to remember where it was. I'm trying to remember where it was. Okay, okay, stepping opponent. There's 1. There's 2 actually. Why is he in a speedo? Don't ask. Sidestep's gonna be a very popular thing. It better be. Alright, let's go. Yeah, this is a better way to unlock, you know, stuff. Story mode, bro. Yeah, I don't think I'm gonna finish that on stream. At least the one for 5 was really fun and over the top. Alright. Alright, got all 3 at once. And we got Lei Fong costume number 7. Impressive, alright. Just trying to remember where the hell the thing is. Want some couple more regular matches at this point. Let's probably do one arcade run. Let's do a normal. Just easy way to unlock costumes. So I'm trying to... I still can't remember where the hell it was. Doesn't help that although some of the conversation is canon, though. Those crossover games. He's like, why do I need canon material in the crossover game elsewhere? Can't seem to find it. The fucking thing. Hold on, oh shit. Christ. Oh yeah, I do hope that we do get that Dead or Alive 2026. I doubt it, probably 2027 if we get one even. But I wouldn't surprise they put like a demo out with like you did with Dead or Alive 5 with just 4 characters. You have to play that over and over and over. Let's talk. Yeah, Yuri fans are something else. I don't know if at the moment, sadly. Yeah, that's why I say I don't think it's going to be. I would love to, but I don't believe it. But unfortunately, Doa also, when it comes to these things, it comes to a point where it's like, it's a monkey's paw. You say you don't want it, but then the more you don't have it, because very few things, very few things will stand that test of time. Because there's nothing funny when you go to like the art site, you take the Doa tag, and almost none of the classic Doa girls from like the first 4 games get any art. It's always just Mary Rose Honoka, and then now at this point, a lot more of the newer girls from the Extreme Beach games. They're exclusive characters, mind you. And then sometimes Mary Rose and Honoka. So if your favorite girl is someone like Lisa Hamilton or Momiji, yeah, they're shafted big time. You don't get a lot of that unless you're paid to watch it. And then they're gonna have someone else edit that shit to be some other Doa girl that they like. 2 years from fitness to leading up to Japanese gaming. It's over. Hold up. Damn, just punch. Motherfucker, come on. Throw these around. I'm streaming who loves Misaki or whatever. Yeah, nothing wrong with it. I'm just saying it's just a testament of the time. Because why? Because the girls have, those newer girls have a lot of new content, a lot of new stuff going on. They're in the crossover games as well. And the more you, and the things that you have to be relevant for people to like you. Dead or Alive stopped being relevant a long time ago. For a lot of people. So now whenever you get, so unless you're some sort of like, you know, triple S tier waifu like Morrigan or Sofataya, you know, and that's more so your design than your whole gameplay legacy, mind you, then yeah, you're kind of out of the picture. So at what point is like you're willing to take a mediocre / mid entry to keep relevancy versus, you know, because except that the heyday is gone, it's sunset, and you're not gonna get that back. For Quartet, well, yeah, but they have to play their cards right. They have to just not be the same greedy scumbags that they were for this game. I mentioned that earlier on stream, but just too many things. Using Itagaki's notes for mature story, then chickening out on that with the god-awful boring story mode I showed right before you joined Crimson. Went from a la carte costumes from Dead or Alive for the past 10 years into forcing those $20 bundles. Doing the free play mode and expecting everyone to just buy all the characters when it was clear that forcing everyone to buy every character is why Extreme Beach 3 sold so well. The anything less than sexy for Doa 5 is going to be seen as censorship, whether it be for FGC or not, because again, nothing beats grass meat skirt with lace covering your nipples. The easier, simplified gameplay with sidestep being very broken in the higher levels is another example. There was two more things that also really, yeah, having a smaller roster count than the previous game with all the DLC included. That's another one. And then the lack of support for not even a calendar year was the nail in the coffin. All of that stuff because Koei Tecmo was expecting Dead or Alive 5 numbers off of the launch from Dead or Alive 6. In sales and gameplay and everything. But Dead or Alive 5 sold because you had to buy the full game for the first 2 or 3 incarnations, if you're counting, Dead or Alive 5 Plus. But yeah, so as long as Koei Tecmo learned their lesson from that, and maybe they keep Dead or Alive like as a regular full price fighting game for like a year or two before doing the core fighter thing, then there's a chance I think they can save the game, assuming the rest of the game is competent and well made. But if they're gonna run straight to core fighters, they're not gonna get the money that they wanted to, because the people who are gonna buy the core fighters are gonna just buy the waifus, the skins, and they're not gonna buy the whole character. They're not gonna keep the game alive. It's not Street Fighter 6 where you have to customize the character and that online city mode and the hyper attractive, the uber duper attractive models that you make Yuri's foot fans, goddamn guild and thing. You don't have that in Dota, and you don't want that in Dota. I'd also would get rid of the meter system. It's for people who like a comeback mechanic, it's fine, but for people who like older Dota, you don't need that stuff. Or at least change how the bar works so you can treat it like a versus game beater where you can have a hyper special, or use it to boost your moves. Smaller scale for guest characters, correct. Zolo 5 had Virtual Fighter, Samurai crossovers, and correct. Yeah, but wait, which exactly do you mean? About the skins? I mean, if you want to charge for the skins, fine, but I'm just saying, if you wanted people, I'm not saying they'll have to give, like, oh, buy it for PS4, get it for free for PS5, but you can't be charging $7 or, like, $10 a single skin and expect people to buy it in open arms, Like the Venus thing works because the base game is free. You give them the blades, you sell them the razors. You need to just... And small scale for guest characters, that is true. Am I saying they need a lot of guest characters? No, they can make new girls. They can bring some of the Venus Beach girls over. But I'm talking about just as longevity as a whole. There's gonna be something that they inevitably do that I don't like, but I just accept that. That's part of the product. You're not gonna like everything. I don't like Kula in this game. And if they wanted splatter characters, they could have just picked fucking... What the fuck is that flip? They could have just used Yuri. Small tiny Yuri. Don't always come with the Virtual Fighter. You can't pop on immediate with some Cells and Furious 4 thought. Exactly. But I mentioned earlier that was in that mid to late PlayStation 4 era where every fighting game has some sort of combat mechanic, rage arts, like the rage arts or the fatal blow. Every fighting game at the time was having something like that, and I even mentioned even Smash Bros. Had that since Brawl if you turn on the Smash Ball. If you're just that shitty of a player. Yeah, you're being heated me exactly. You see what's in my going on in the head. New right here, 3D fighters have a meter. Yeah, I'm not saying they can't have a meter, but I'm just saying it with how they've done it in this game, just as like a glorified spacing mechanic. It's not the way it's going to work for Doa. Can you have a meter in the 3D fighting game? Absolutely you can. But you have to tailor it to what works best for the gameplay. And most importantly, if you do pull it off, it's going to be divisive. That's a brand new category. I mean, you have more chain, for example, in like Tekken, from 6 to 7 to 8, than you do from Virtual Fighter 3 to 4 to 5. I'm not saying you have to be that level of consistent, but you just got to be very, very aware of what you're dealing with. You want to cut it on the gimmicks and spectacle? They can keep some spectacle, I mean, but that's because, at least with Doa, you can turn off stage hazards, or cool looking stages like this, I don't mind. But yeah, if you want to turn off the thing, the stage hazards, I completely get it. I mean, I do it like half the time I turn them off when I play against other bots or friends. More so bots. Oh, I talk about virtual fight when you say they, not in terms of 5 Revo. Yeah. Probably, but I'm not quite sure what 5 Revo. I think Revo was essentially just a taste of like to get feedback, you know, because the popular convention for fighting back then is not the popular convention for fighting is now. And think about it, back then with Virtua Fighter, you had Dead or Alive as a serious competitor. You had Tekken as a humongous competitor. And those were in their prime when the fan bases were rallying around them like crazy. Now Tekken's been bleeding players compared to how it was back in the Tekken 4 or 5 days. Mortal Kombat's no longer a thing. Soul Calibur has really been big in a long ass time. King of Fighters, City of Wolves not doing good as Mark of the Wolf. I read off the EVO numbers. Again, Guilty Gear Strive with like 300 players versus the 3,150 something that Street Fighter 6 has. Then you've got, yeah, whoever the big players are, it's really shaken up a lot. It made a process renovation of Street Fighter that with 2D fighters. I think what it means by that, a lot of 2D fighters just kind of play very similarly, you know, with the life bar and the special thing. And you don't really have 3D fighters where they either kind of chose to go full-on weapons combat, or like how you use that third dimension. Sometimes you get to fly, sometimes you get to jump, sometimes you just go for aerial positioning. Some use the meter, some don't do the meter. But 2Ds tend to be a lot more similarly woven as far as the mechanics. Because you don't really have like a ring out in most 2D fighting games. Like the walls are just glued to the end. Or you don't like punch them off the stage like you would with Smash Brothers, for example. I'll do one more arcade mode. Let's do normal again. Who should I pick? Part of me wants to pick Mai, part of me wants to pick Momiji. I'm gonna pick Momiji this time. I just wish I had the black outfit, like, or the one with the tie. Those are my favorite ones. One of that one, and this one, yeah. This is what I want. But beggars can't be choosers. The thing is Soul Calibur Basher Fighter, yeah. Street Fighter KLF, Guilty Gear Sam Show, DNF Dual Code Arts, and Grand Prix 2, yep. All feel wildly different, yeah. Oh, Kitty came out with kind of 3D fighter, yeah. Oh yeah, and I forget about the 3D anime fighters too, yeah, they feel completely fucking different, you're right. Come on, Brad, don't do your thing. Well, also unmoves the meter, yeah. And also the pacing too, yeah. But yeah, but the thing is that when you have a game like that, they tend to just kind of pick one thing. You know? Like when a 3D game likes it, like you said, Virtua Fighter split up into the coast for split up into Tekken, and that split up also into Dead or Alive. But you don't really hear about, you know, like King of Fighters splitting off into like 3 other different games. And even then, they're not like radically different. Like you don't have a King of Fighters game that flows like Samsha, or a King of Fighters game that plays like Street Fighter 1 and 2, with the 6 buttons and everything. Like, yeah, because I bought like Doa 7, but Doa 7 had like the horizontal and the vertical attacks like Soul Calibur, and we don't really get that. It's like the 2D fighters in the same regard. Oh, what's gonna come? Oh, of course, bro, of course. Not doing a 3D fighter anymore. Part of it is that it takes time, and part of it is that it's also an extreme reaction. Because what was it before a lot of fighting games had comebacks in the like late 2000s, early 2010s? Before that, 3D was in because 3D was just the way to go. And then people just committed, I think with like Tatsunoko vs. Capcom, Mortal Kombat 9, Killer Instinct. But the 2.5D fighter just, for most people, just seemed like it was the natural way to go. Marvel vs. Capcom 3 as well. The 2.5D was just the way to go back. because it's like, oh, the old formula still works, so we don't need to use the new 3D formulas. And so now, you know, indie devs, they want to keep costs cheap. It's just cheaper also to develop a 2-dimensional fighter than it is to develop a 3-dimensional. Because what's easier to make a 2D fighter where you use some assets like we saw with what was the one I played? What was it called? Omnia, not Phantom Breaker, Omnia Under Night, was it? No, that's fucking the wrong one. It's Omnia, you know. Because Phantom Breaker is the fucking beat up one, and then Under Night is fucking Melty Blood. Fuck. Yeah, but you know what I mean, though. That one was basically made from like the recycled assets of other games because the company didn't have enough money, as our Sinistar here said. Yeah, that's how bad it is for terms of costs. Which is easier to get, you know, 3D model from something like a cheap Unity set, a cheap Unreal set, then you can put them in some sort of pixelation filter afterwards. Like, because Killer Instinct originally did that. They had the 3D models photographed, so they can look 3D, but then just they were really just 2D sprites being used. Because it just would decrease the render times that was needed. It was a lot cheaper to produce anyways. So yeah, so with a lot of indie devs, it's just easier to make 2D games, and also, most importantly, the formula is there for the taking. You have a lot of 2D games that sell, that have been historically working with formulas that have just been proven to sell and be effective. 3D, you gotta take everything into account. You're gonna have a 3-weapon system like MK Deadly Alliance. You're gonna have the 3-way, whole way, 4-way holds of the Dead or Alive series. I'm gonna lose shit. Do you want to make a 3D arena like an anime fighter? Do you want to keep it to a tiny space, wide space? You're gonna have ring outs. You're gonna have hazards. What are you gonna do exactly? You have to put a lot more thought into a 3D thing, because it's not like 3D platformers where you have this. Because fighting games, in my experience, at least how I understand them, they're kind of the inversion of how almost every other form of video game works. Like, you've seen that meme, right, of like 2D platformer versus 3D open world, where the 2D platformer, the 3 chest boxes are right next to each other, but then open world, they have like, you walk for like 10 seconds, there's a box, another 10 seconds, another box, another enemy, kill him, another 10 seconds, there's a box, and stuff like that. Yeah, it's not like open world action game where you can just kind of like pad it and then it gives a similar kind of like feel as far as the objectives go. Here you have to commit to the ideas out the box first and then build inwards. You're building the frame of the arena outwards. It's a fitting analogy. You gotta build the arena outwards, and then from there you have to know what kind of fights you can have in it. You can have a hockey game at an arena if it's big enough. When you make your arena too small, you know, you can't hold concerts. What do you want to happen in that arena? And you have to commit to that idea or risk starting all over. 2D fighters, you can just rework the mechanics as needed. It's a lot easier to fix. It's kind of like working with pen versus pencil. If you're bold and you're willing to take chances and you draw with pen, then pen could actually be a really cool medium with lots of bold effects. But a lot of people are going to pick pencil, not because you can get a lot of cool tricks out of pencil, because you can erase your mistakes. Because people nowadays want to put high investment but low risk. And that's why all this shit goes to heaven and hell and back. Same as Peak, you also got Bloody Roar, Soul Calibur, Toei, Total, Rita Shonen, Dead Live. Yep, they were all growing steadily. But it also was that you had the arcades were pushing a lot of 3D fighters as well. A lot of them were. A lot of them were as well. That's a very important thing. The arcade was still not completely dead yet. Because what happened around when the esports scene got big? Some games were selling you arcade sticks or fight pads. I know Mortal Kombat had their 2 arcade sticks. For if you bought the Retro Collection or the Special Edition, they had the fight pad for MKX. Dead or Alive 5, for regular and the Ultimate and Last Round, they had their own Dead or Alive arcade sticks you could buy. Street Fighter had a 6-button pad you could buy, and then later, officially licensed stick. But what happened? But those were mostly the 2D fighters. 3D fighters weren't giving you sticks to work with or other control schemes like that to work with. Because when's the last time you heard about a Virtua Fighter fight stick? You probably don't. You probably can't think of it. Soul Calibur, I know Tekken had their fight sticks, but I don't think Soul Calibur did because people just buying the Tekken ones anyway, to be completely fair. Shit. Project Justice? Glad Rival Schools, yes. The one that they refused to remake or like to reintroduce. For some reason, they'll just make them the crossover characters into Street Fighter, which is kind of sad. But then again, they've been doing that with Darkstalkers and the for a series for how long? So the last Bronx wasn't just Soul Calibur, but Sunshine wasn't as good, and also Japan played Last Bronx. Yep. Yeah, and with 2.5D kind of having, you know, that the thing of like, yeah, the games were like fighters in the 90s, and they stand the test of time 20, 30 years later in the 2000s. People just kind of then felt that, oh, 3D fighters are kind of gimmicky nowadays. That's not true, but with how a lot of people saw it at the time, because, you know, 3D was the new thing. It's not like 3D animation in movies where people have thoroughly been convinced that 3D is just the new standard animation default, while, Each small company can make a 2D fighter, System Star. Any sprite small company with models, but you can't do that with non-Unreal games. Exactly my point. Unless you want more games made in Unreal, because again, people don't want that high risk. Unity, you have to pay what? You could say use Godot, but have you heard of a big major game that made millions of bucks using Godot? No. Blender, for context, remember, Blender got big for 2 reasons. Blender got big for 2 big reasons. The first was the erotica of Elizabeth Comstock from Battlefield Infinite. That alone led to major developments. But the developments in that, because of that, were so big. Bungie, yes, the same team that made, same company that made Halo, Bungie, they used it for the game Destiny 2, yes, Destiny. Yeah. And then now it was like, whoa, the guys who made Halo made a commercial grade product that's making millions of dollars with this. And then what did they do? The people who made the Blender then hired a bunch of people who were formerly with Maya, formerly with other 3D modeling companies, and asked them, as a 3D model, as an industry standard professional, what do you use? Or it used to be former ZBrush as well. How would you code this? How would you program this? What's the layout that's better for an artist? And that's when that 2.7 update came out. And it got a massive overhaul, and ever since then it's been more adopted into the mainstream, because you have proof that it can make $1 million program, which then means $1 million people investing in it, which means it becoming $1 million product, and it's a vicious fucking cycle. So until you get something like that with Godot or any other free 3D engine, or even cheaper like App Game Kit Maker, you're not really gonna get far with it. You're gonna be sticking with Unreal and Unity. And again, Unreal's got that thing where they don't charge you until launch. So you may as well just start with that if cost and quality is your big fear. I see a Poly Indie Revolution of a new 3D fighter. But like I said earlier, you have to commit to a project. Do people just want to make a game, or do they have an actual concept and project that they want to make? That's the tricky part. Because, again, you see how they took Mai Shiranui and they put her in this game. She doesn't function exactly the same as she does in King of Fighters or in Street Fighter 6, because the environments have to change, the inputs got to change, because you have to go around the whole system. The fighting game, you have a system, but, and again, we're talking to fighting fans, we know you need to have a system, a layout, put the logic to it, but when people who are making these games don't really go that deep. They follow some YouTube tutorials or some other stock templates, and then they run from there. I'm not saying that they're bad, but it's not going to give you the best fighting game. That's why a lot of these newer indie fighting games that are good are usually people who are just formerly with bigger companies, or people who have just like studied and broken down like the frames and animation and everything. New high score, all right. I'm not saying I'm the post 3D fighter. Just want to clarify. But it's, again, bro, when the biggest fighting game, quote unquote, fighting game fans are quote unquote like Smash Brothers fans who just buy because it's the character from the crossover that they like more than anything else, then it's kind of tough to make that sale, you know? I'm just trying to find that thing. Hold on a second. I want a Soul Calibur clone? Yeah. I wouldn't mind one either. But the other thing, when you're a clone, you'll always be held up to the scrutiny of the original. So unless Soul Calibur, you know, gets the cool style, the epic music, and then gives you waifus that can rival Sofa, Taya, and Ivy, and Taki, good luck. But on the other hand, they're so starved ever since Soul Calibur 6 that you may have a chance. Like Tekken, where it has like a currently ongoing game where like there's a character that people like that nobody brought back for like a decade. Why count lottery? I'll because if something 5 people will play. Well, think this way: if that thing that 5 people will play, but if that inspires 50 people, then it's not a wash. A Soul Blade clone, all right. Get your last thoughts in there. Resting my eyes to hear my beautiful voice. Oh. Yeah, I don't know where the hell that thing is where you can just, you know... there's that... I'm trying to remember where it was. I think it was Quest, but I can't remember. About just trying to find the scripts and all that stuff. Weapon durability? Doesn't need to be high fidelity? Yeah, most people need high fidelity. Just give me a sec here. I want to look up at bases filled with flavors. Where is that thing there? Where is it at? Yeah, I can't find it. Shit. I was trying to find the thing where you could like win the game and see some like transcript quotes that you see from the characters, but fuck, I can't seem to find it. I'll have to find it later. I'll show it off next time we play this game. So tomorrow I'll put another poll for Daymare or not. I'm not sure if we're gonna finish Daymare. Because you're just kind of sick and tired of it with how that last fucking week went. I got a headache playing that fucking boss fight. Holy shit, man. But it shouldn't be too bad tomorrow. So maybe more Doa, maybe another fighting game. I know you guys really like these. Just want to give the story thing a break. And as for streaming, probably streaming until the mid of March, and then I'll do more moving stuff, and then so the internet will probably have to be like disconnected, and then we'll set up the internet at the new place. I'll put the poll up in the server, because I'm not opposed to playing other things, but I just don't want to do anything too long with the story anymore that's new, because, you know, again, I've got about a month time frame before I was like physically move these boxes around. Would you play KOF when I'm on the road tomorrow? I can play KOF tomorrow, yeah. I'll see which one to go. Maybe it'll be either 98, probably 14, probably 15 again, with all like... Then I start out with a DMD, or we're gonna head up, we're gonna call the stream here. We'll head up to the VC, guys. We'll let Arcade Soul Calibur, that'd be great. Alright guys, this is your boy Shinano signing off, and we'll catch you, probably throw some hands down tomorrow. And whatever you do, just avoid the little maid loli. You don't ever trust those.